All right, so in front of me here, I've got a 3-tap dispensing kit. Whether you're buying a 2, 3, or 4-tap dispensing kit, it's going to be relatively the same, just depending on the number of hoses and your manifold is going to differ. So, but it's generally the same. So the clear lines are your beverage jumpers. They come with stainless steel tailpieces. One end has a 90-degree end on it that we like hooking to the jockey box because it points the tubing down and out of the way. The other is a straight tailpiece that connects to the top of your beer coupler. You can switch them around. If you want the straight coming out of your jockey box, that's fine too. They both ends will either fit the beer coupler or the jockey box. The blue lines are your airlines. These are going to come, you've got one line that's going to come from your regulator to your air manifold. And then you've got 3 lines coming off of your air manifold to feed your couplers. So one CO2 tank will be able to feed 3 beer lines. Then you've got your regulator. This will hook directly to your CO2 tank. The CO2 tanks, you can either find them locally or you can find them online. I've got one here for demonstration purposes. So when you hook your regulator up to your CO2 tank, the CGA 320 valve is standard in the US. It'll fit most tanks, almost all tanks. On the end of the Taparite regulators that we sell, there's a rubber washer that's built into the end here. Otherwise, if you don't see a built-in rubber washer here, you'll also see some sort of plastic washer, usually attached to the tank itself. That needs to go between. So you either had one or the other, the plastic or the rubber washer here. So coming off the regulators that we sell is a 5/16 barb with a shutoff valve on it. All the tubing that you have here is 5/16. So that's off, that's on. So you're gonna have one line that runs from your regulator to your air manifold, and then you've got 3 lines that are coming off your manifold that are going to go to your couplers. So let's open up one of these couplers here. Because our beverage lines already come with nice stainless steel tailpieces, the tailpieces inside the coupler box aren't going to be necessary for the setup, so just set those aside. You can use those later on. You will need one of them, which is the air side. The air side is also going to come with a little check valve. So the top of your beer coupler is for your liquid out. That's going to be your clear. The air in is going to be on the side of your beer coupler. That's also going to need your check valve. So that allows air to go into your coupler and no liquid to come out. So you will need the tailpiece that's associated with that. So check valve in, then tailpiece, then your gas line will attach to that with the hose clamps that we also provide, and then there are also a couple extra hose clamps inside the beer coupler too. So you'll have a couple extra hose clamps, you'll have a couple extra beer washers. Beer washers come with your beverage lines as well. You're going to need a rubber washer between each connection. So you'll need a connection at the top of your coupler and at the back of your jockey box where that tightens down. One more thing about the regulator. I have seen some comments online about these being stripped. What they probably don't know is that this big giant red knob actually locks. So if you pull it out, you can then turn it to increase or decrease the amount of pressure that's going to your air manifold. So if you can't turn this big red dial, pull it out and it'll be able to turn. And then if you want to lock it, push it back in. Gauges, the top gauge is your PSI, 0 to 60 PSI. On a 50-foot coil jockey box, you're going to run 25 to 30 PSI. There's a safety valve on the back of this that's going to release at about 55 PSI. So if you get too high a pressure, what's going to happen is gas is going to start coming out the back of this, this regulator here. The other one's your fill gauge. This will kind of tell you how full the tank is. typically what happens is it's going to show full, and as as it gets down to about a half a pound or so, it'll start to kind of slowly die. So it'll always show full until you actually get pretty low on the tank. Another easy way to tell how full it is just to weigh it, right? There's a tare weight on your CO2 tanks. They typically range, let's see, 5 pound CO2. This tare weight is 7.7 pounds. So if you're at 12.7 pounds, there's a full 5 pounds in there. Anything less than that, you know how much CO2 is in there. So if you have any questions, email us support@coldbreakusa.com.